The Eagles rolled the Commanders. This was one of those games. The Eagles did to the Commanders what the Commanders did to the Detroit Lions. And all of a sudden, those turnovers start, and then you start to play a little more desperate, and you got a lot of Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts was wonderful. And yes, I have to acknowledge this because people were pointing this out. How do you feel about Jalen Hurts today? I said, I've been waiting for this. He's been inconsistent. Now, I thought he was banged up, had 3 rushing touchdowns. He looked great. I mean, that was an impressive performance, both sides of the ball. But the Commanders, I know it sounds strange to say this, but they did have chances. They were close until all of a sudden they had turnovers, missed opportunities, and then it becomes 55-23. Saquon was wonderful. But I still don't understand this. That's the one guy I have to stop. I just have to stop. And I'm sure they were trying to stop him. But I wanted Jalen Hurts to pass the ball. But all of a sudden, they change the play, and Saquon goes for 60. So Jalen Hurts saw something. Nick Sirianni, somebody saw something, and all of a sudden they changed it. And I think that's kind of lost in this. So if you watch that play, Hurts sees something, changes the play, changes where Saquon is lined up, and then all of a sudden he goes left, and then he goes back right, and then you go, oh, my goodness. He's done it again. And I was curious, though, when you start to look at running backs like that, this doesn't happen in the postseason. So Saquon Barkley, when you're running over 60 yards, he is the first player in NFL history, 3 rushing touchdowns of 60 yards or more in his playoff career. All 3 have happened this season.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Kansas City Chiefs fan Melissa Etheridge there with Stat of the Day. Here's Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, on Saquon.
They don't give me a vote for MVP, but I know who my vote would. That's probably why they don't give me a vote, because I would vote for Saquon. But special performance, special player, special job by the entire group to make that play go, to start things off, and that was a good tone setter.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a home run. That's a Ricky Henderson leading off a game home run type of feel. But, you know, the Commanders, you had a great year. You had a bad day, you had a great year. And you got a great future there. And I loved everything about their whole ride that they had. You know, Dan Quinn, happy for him. Jaden Daniels was wonderful. I think you got to be introduced to some of their players yesterday. Maybe you weren't familiar with them. We're familiar with Jaden Daniels for a reason. But they got a bright future there. And I thought it was wonderful. But the Eagles are now. And you talk about a team that was built, like moves that they make, and you go, oh, I don't know about that draft pick. Or, oh, they're bringing in Saquon Barkley. And remember, go back to the offseason where you had analysts, you certainly had Philadelphia fans who are like, why are we bringing him in? Our offensive line can make, any running back good. True, your offensive line can make any running back good. Your offensive line can't make somebody rush for 2,000 yards. And that's the difference with Saquon Barkley. Derrick Henry, he's just different. And I love the return of the running back. Love it. Love it. And you got to see Saquon, and he's a home run hitter. And that team is so balanced. And I know Howie Roseman, like if there's somebody who is the Steve Spagnuolo, like Howie Roseman built this team, hey, Spags is going to dial up something for the Chiefs. It would be the equivalent of that you have a GM who gets mentioned as much as a coordinator or coach does. But he did a wonderful job. Remember, I was thinking about this with Saquon. When he had that first touchdown run, I thought back to earlier in the regular season. Remember when he had the drop? And all of a sudden, he was going to be with us that next day. And, he had people, death threats. I mean, it was in his home, in Philadelphia. And that, I go, God, that's so long ago, but it's not. And then here he is, doing what he does better than anybody. And that's being a home run hitter. Yeah, Paulie.
There'll be a day, a decade from now, you'll say, Saquon Barkley used to be a New York Giant because he's going to do so much good work with the Eagles. Was it Marshall Faulk Colts,
Yeah.
Rams. You remember the Colts career?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great point.